Hey everybody. As my voice kind of cracked. Sorry, I might be coming down with something. I'm trying the tea with honey solution. Um, yeah, okay, Elite Dangerous time. If you're still here, thanks for watching the Skyrim stream. Those I will try to do a bunch. I got a bit of a head start on my quote-unquote July room. But I just thought that'd be something fun to do on the side of my normal play schedule. So, Elite Dangerous, let's do it. I'm going to do some BGS work and just kind of fly around randomly. Not a lot of very particular or tricky things happening. Actually, I think I'm not even close to home. I'll have to fly back to the München area. But yeah. By the way, if you can hear that quietly, so listen very quietly in the back. Well, hold on.
Quebec Uniform Alpha. This port operates under federal jurisdiction. You must submit a request before landing.
Yes, thank you. So if you listen very quietly, you will hear the radio chatter. I want that to be loud, that radio chatter. Here's the problem. Under their audio stuff, the radio chatter is the same as the non-player voice volume, so that insanely loud in-flight controllers is the result. If I turn up the radio chatter, I also have to dock with a guy yelling in. So that's why I really wish those were separate and that the radio chatter could be loud enough to be audible. Oh well. So apply that. Back to game. I was helping somebody load up with their tea yesterday, helping Algold, so I need to head back to München. Actually, I'm going to go to CD 72. Keep doing my work. Fixing the Emperor's Fist problem. And then in about 3-4-ish hours, we should be able to see the tick and get the war started in Vista. Make sure that is visible. Got quite a few jumps to get back. Sorry, I blew a little ways off. But yeah, the situation for Libertas Cooperative is looking really good. I was worried for a little while because we had a sort of resurgent player-minor faction that had been totally abandoned. And then it turned out that they probably weren't really picked up hardcore. It was like a weekend warrior kind of thing. Somebody just running missions for them just because in the last few days they've kind of been not supported much. We'll see if that continues or not, but I think we have the upper hand there. And then, more importantly, we are capturing one of our first long-term systems that we want to hold on to protect the faction from being just utterly wrecked. It'll take at least a week for somebody to mess with us once we're totally in control there and doing well. It's up a little bit. Yeah, 6 jumps. That's not too bad. I need to probably also get a crate, but I will need to do some engineering grinding before then. I'm hoping to get a lot from doing missions today. We'll see how that goes. So that's all. Preview. That's chat's up. Slack. What's going on? Slack.
Fuel scooping.
Oh, Algold admitting to delivering bio waste to everybody. Thanks, Al.
Frameshift drive charging.
It's all an outbreak. it up here, make sure I have enough to get back, which I should. I mean, 4 jumps. No reason not to. Oh, that reminds me, I need to turn on Market Connector, because I'm guesswork.
Temperature critical.
One thing you'll notice is that I pretty much always play
Fuel
in
scoop
open.
disengaged.
That's just kind of the honorable thing to do.
Frameshift drive
I will,
charging.
however, like, board refresh and cycle stuff if I'm not getting any missions. The time efficiency thing, I don't want to spend an hour, you know, waiting for missions to spawn or do one at a time when I can just recycle and do
3,
10 of them. I think that's fair enough. I don't know, I don't think that's too exploity. Especially given that if we had an opponent who played an open, they could find me and kill me and stop me from completing a lot of those missions.
fuel scooping.
Few scoop.
Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scooping.
Oh, one thing I wanted to check, and I'll do that when we get in the next system. I was worried that maybe there'd be a double tick.
Disengaged. Frameshift
Sometimes that
drive
happens
charging.
on days where our server restarts, new patches and things. And so I had noticed yesterday somebody posting on our BGS channel that there had been maybe
Four,
a tick,
three,
like late at night.
one.
I want to check that out.
Fuel scooping.
Let's see, 36 and a half. Nope, that's the same as yesterday. It's not too bad. Good. So no double tick. That's always helpful. Things just kind of work the way that they were intended to.
Warning. Temperature critical. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Lots of downtime in Elite Dangerous.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
So there's Phillips. Actually, it's so an idea of what we're looking at here. So here's Libertas Cooperative, right? That's us. We're doing pretty well. We're almost back up to 50%, which is good. The People Emperor's Fist were on the rise. They were as high as 30. But they ended up in election with Patrons' Principles. We supported them in that election, and they won eventually. But here's part of the problem. Corporate governments like Emperor's Fist only have elections with patronage, right? Patronage, 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 and another corporate faction which they'll have elections with. We want war. So my mission today is to try to boost this democracy, because this one democracy is the only faction besides us that would actually have a war with the Emperor's Fist. And we want more wars because that's damaging to their influence in other systems, and it takes a lot of effort to continually fight in wars. So I don't want those guys rising up. We don't want patronages running systems in Aisling Duval space. We don't want random people coming by and just supporting factions for the hell of it and stomping around in our space. So this is about, managing the BGS in our sphere. It's how it's gonna continue to be. If they wanted to actually respond to us when we said, hey, what's going on? Like, why are you supporting this faction? Please do something diplomatic, then that would be different. But when they don't reply, when they possibly UA bomb our main station to try to, shut us down and prevent us from supporting our own faction that we created and brought into the game and managed for 3 years. Actually, it's going to be our 4th anniversary, right? Isn't it? We start 2015 to 2016. 2016, 3rd anniversary will be this September. So it's that's a lot of time and effort to put into something. To then be like, no, please just come crap all over it because doing. And again, want to reach out and talk to us and say, hey, let's make a deal. Let's have our faction in one system, but not, taking over all the systems. Or is there a way we can control a station without taking up, that can be worked out. Don't reply, or don't chat at all. Not gonna get what you want.
Access granted. Set down on landing pad 1-5. Automated docking approved. You may now handle...
Earl looking a little beat up. Might be time to trade her in for a crate at some point, just for some variety. Really do still like the Python.
Landing gear deployed.
1,000 meters from touchdown.
Let's see what's on offer for the missions here.
Landing complete.
Alright,
Touching ground.
so there's Selena, her beautiful visage. The one thing I wanted to see is the shipyard here. It's a pretty decent shipyard given where Viper, Dolphin, Healy, Scout, Explorer. Great. I swear every station sells the crate. This is I haven't been anywhere that doesn't, except some tiny small pads. Not gonna pay 44 million. Scout. Alright, what's on the mission boards? So the plan is to do basically 1 for 1. So 1 for Libertas, 1 for that Democracy faction, the Republic Party. These guys. I'm going to grenade. And what I'm going to try to do is 1 for 1 on the influence count. So these are 3 influence. The donation is probably 2. Yeah. I'll probably try, given the population here, right? That's one thing you have to pay attention to for BGS. The population. So we're looking at 14 million. So that's I'd call that medium. You might need about 30 total little plus signs if you're just doing missions. I may have some bounties. Let's see what I got. Patrons Principles. I don't want to read you. Oh, wait. I know there's a material trader here. Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's good to know. I don't know how I missed that. I think I was going all the way over to some other further away system. So let's take a look. I might even with a fan paper. Alright, so here's Libertas. Alright, so that's 5. And move non-lethal weapons to Shenty. Got plenty of donation missions. I'm happy to do that. So there's 5 there. Well, this is one reason, though, why the crate is going to be a tough sell. 180 here. Right, 180 there. Not giving you slaves. Selena, what is going on? Why do you want these slaves? terrible. Bad Selena. But yeah, like, I could take this mission and this mission in Python. I could not take both of these missions in a crate. No matter how hard I tried with the cargo racks and stuff, if I still wanted, like, shields, I couldn't do that. So that's one difficulty for me with the crate, is that extra, potentially 56, at least with the build I was looking at, that extra 56 tons of cargo still makes a difference. And so that's why it's hard for me to immediately want to swap it out for all my BGS work. Alright. Anyway, so let's go with 5, 6, 7, 8. Or another, and then, oh yeah, and then 9, 10 from, so yeah, 2s. 2, 5. What are my options for +5 influence? Medicines I'll do. In Labor Party, yeah, those are probably guys who want support. Okay, so that's 10 for Libertas. Now let's look down at Republic Party. 2, 4. Ah, okay, this will work. Okay, so 2, 4, 8. Then we can do 11. 11's fine. That's not really too bad. This will go to a Saren closer. 25 light seconds. Yeah, it's not. This one is. They're both close. I think I've been to Saren. Okay, let's do these donations. So there's. We'll say LC. LC has 10, Rep has 11. How many I'm doing? Okay, so those are turned in. Back up here, just turned in. If you're looking at your missions, right, you'll see influence is going up, expanding our boom. We can keep our boom, which will be helpful because we're going to start a war. And then I'll probably check these when I come back. Alright, let's take a look at our mission. So we've got 2 of these deliveries and the medicines. Let's do the medicines first. Uh, 5,000 light seconds out. That's fine. We can. So keep in mind our totals for the system that we're looking at. We're up to 21 missions. But because we're splitting them between 2 factions, they're not going to get full movement for like 10 each and 10 each, right? If I had just done 10 missions for LC, and nobody had done any missions anywhere in the system for any other factions, then we would see roughly, I don't know, 30 to 50% of our total potential influence movement. But now that I'm splitting it, I'm basically going to see between like 5 and 8 or 9% of our total potential influence. So if you start supporting multiple factions, you need to push significantly harder to see that maximum influence gain. And you need that because it's going to start pulling that influence away from other factions that aren't receiving as much work. Because everything has to add up to 100, so that influence is going to come from somewhere, or be the other factions. So you'll probably see me do 2 more similar runs out of CD72 so that I can get both factions about 30 influence, what you call them. Hopefully not all going to places that are 5,000 light seconds out. But yeah, so I'm just gonna let that roll. See who's going places in the galaxy. Hoping that Lance would be out somewhere, but he's probably still in the. Who's up here? Laffalrog, I don't even know who that is. And Shona. There's Lance. Yeah, it makes sense. He's insane. They're doing some GS work as well. Yeah, let's look around Munchen space. You guys were asking, we have a few new joiners. So if you want to know about our systems, right? So here's Munchen. That's where we're from. That's got our summary here, right? A group of free citizens dedicated to good governance and cooperations of individual stakeholders and organizations. I wanted that to read as much like a mission statement as possible. Here's CD72. Home system of the Emperor's Fist, once the elite guards, remember. HQ, found themselves outside sort of traders, bounty hunters, over at Operative, described up. Forgotten. Yeah, their faction is long forgotten. They joined and were abandoned almost. Worked them. Suddenly they woke up. Let's go. Then you have Epsilon Hydri, Corvos again, like a bunch of pirates also nearby, but totally abandoned. Nobody has supported them or helped them. This is one of the problems with the way BGS works, is you get these player factions that show up, and then like they're just totally left alone and abandoned, and they're like, we own this system, this is ours, we're the evil pirates, and this is going to be the evil pirate system, and then they're on. They don't support it, they don't run it, they don't do anything. And it's just kind of weird. So, Munshin, here's the big main LC systems are Munshin, Chantenary, and CD, right? These three are really good economies. They trade with each other well. We have high-tech, agricultural and extraction, and industrial, so they trade with each other well. We also have Arngen, which is a smaller extraction refinery system. Degas, which is Algold's kingdom, right here. Come on. There it is. And now we're expanding to Vistainus, which is what we're going to start a war for conquest of today. Other Libertas systems. Right up here is Wakia, home of Wakia Cup Coffee. And this is an agricultural system. And Argol, which is a small expansion system we use. It's kind of inconvenient. I don't know if we're going to want to keep it forever. So those are all our systems for now. Other options down the road will be going to Plutorama, Sikunheim, I would say is how you say that. Sikunheim, probably Keim, probably a K sound. The reason we want this is the same reason we want Vista, is that it has a high population, which makes it hard for us to dislodge. Need significantly more effort to manage a system with high population. And even in Vista, where we are working very hard, we're still only moving between 2 and 5% a day. And we're unopposed, right? I don't think anybody else is in there trying to stop us. So that's kind of useful, right? Like, if you're a faction and you don't want to immediately have some random new group show up or somebody hostile to you show up and screw over your faction, like, you want to own those systems with billions of pop. That's kind of our goal down the road. And then a secondary goal, or a parallel goal, is to find interesting systems to try to expand to. That's why we went to Wakia, because it had 2 really good-looking high-wealth stations. So our portfolio of stations is actually pretty interesting looking, because we have 4 high-wealth stations, which are kind of the old-school fancy stations before they made all the other ones. And then we've got a cool-looking high-tech, which was that CD72 one, and now we're about to grab some tourism stations. So, you know, those expansions are kind of fun and different. I don't know if we'll keep all those small systems or not. I think once we finish this war, it's worth asking everybody what they think, where we're going with it. You know, what kind of future they see for the manatees. Especially leading up to, like, squadrons and carriers and stuff. There's even a chance that, like, we may say, screw minor faction BGS, let's just have our carrier and fly around the galaxy and do fun things together and not worry about this kind of grindiness. Because, like, I was talking to Pyro, and he does a lot for a BGS right now, but it wears him out, right? Like, it's tiring, and you don't get other stuff done for your character, quote-unquote your character, right? Your command. Because you're busy missions and cops, or hauling cargo, or fighting in a war, right? Like, it sucks up a lot of time. And one thing that is difficult for all the manatees, all of our Libertas, you know, PL people, that, like, we want to do the content in the game that isn't all just the BGS content, right? You want to go fight Thargoids, you want to go explore the installations and find out about the mysteries of the galaxy. That's not always the easiest thing to do when you feel like you need to be running, you know, 60 missions, 80 missions a day, or fighting in wars or whatever to maintain your faction. So yeah, that's all our thinking. That's all my thinking, at least so far. Yeah. I guess let me know in chat too if you have questions about GS, looking around at things, you want to know about power play, any of that stuff. I think everybody watching is probably just other PL people at this point, but and then I'm happy to share, talk about things, etc. I really like these types of surface installations.
Alpha. An ally such as your good self is always welcome here, Commander. We look forward to serving you at this facility. Docking request approved. Please make your way to landing pad 1-1. Use of automated docking computer permitted. You are clear to hand over.
Hey, it's Pyro. For joining Slack. How you doing, Pyro?
Landing complete. Ship secured. Have a pleasant visit, Commander.
Quake, question mark. Alright, so I'm going to take the influence. I know that's a decent paycheck, but I want the +5. Oh, Pyro. We had a patch. The tick is moved. It will not tick for another few hours. Say, but that is a feature of the BGS. Oh, I remember Saronir. There's a good trade route through there. What was it? It was, you'd sell some kind of, like, farming equipment or something, maybe? Buy up agricultural products and sell them somewhere and buy gold and gold. That was a while ago. Probably not the case anymore. Pyro, let me respond to him in chat. He woke up early for the war. Oh no. Because of the tick, or because of the patch. Poor guy. Pyro's like our best soldier right now. He's like out there just ready to kick ass and take names, and he's like, I woke up early to fight the war, and the war will not start for several more hours. Like three more hours.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, you could have slept, Pyro. Sorry, pal.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, I don't know exactly when it is. It's estimated about like 3 hours. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What is BGS? What did I say for reminders? So what are the reminders? Oh, I have to ask the Slackbot command. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's around noon my time. Whereas it used to be around noon server time, but that's not so much anymore. Few reminders. BGS tick every day, but at what time? At noon my time. Yeah, so it's in 3 hours. Yes, I am live, Pyro. I am live. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, sorry about that. Whenever they do a patch, the tick tends to move to whenever the patch went live. So my guess is that the BGS will tick sometime around noon my time, so in about 3 hours.
Scan detected.
Also going to turn down that dock. Yep, I'm just doing some BGS. Get to eat some pizza. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll order some pizza when the pizza places open up. I put up some Skyrim. I haven't uploaded it to YouTube yet because I just started streaming immediately following it. But yeah, I did like in quote-unquote episode 3, stream number 3 of some Skyrim. If you wanted to check that out in the meantime. I got tricked into helping the Forsworm escape from jail. Which I'm sure you've played Skyrim a million times, you know what happens. Orc, not the brightest orc. Talking to out 5 a.m. Yeah, we have a 24-hour coverage now, which is something new to our wing. Right, like we never really had that before. Here's this last one. Oh, Arngen. Good old Arngen.
Landing coupler disengaged. Departure authorized.
So, Pyro, have you gotten your crate modded up the way you like it yet, or are you still kind of going back for more thinking, rethinking, regrinding, figuring out your mods? I'm sort of holding off on doing mine until I figure out exactly what I want, and then just gonna do it once. So, what's your loadout now, roughly? Did you go thermal venting beams?
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, grade 3 thermal vent and high capacity ammo missiles. Yeah, that sounds like probably the smart way to do it. I'm wondering if I should go with burst lasers so I can... But the thermal vent beam... I have a hard time wanting to make my ship hot.
3, 2,
But at the same time, I like that idea of extra damage, and the hotter and more dangerous I am, like literally the more deadly I am. At the same time, triple plasma accelerator sounds pretty. And then maybe some railguns or something. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've used cannons, except on my FDL I have that one super big, huge cannon. I kind of like that idea, so maybe I'll do it just for lulz. Just for something fun and different. Yeah, only for the beams, right? So if I'm still getting too hot with burst lasers, I'm shit out of luck, which is part of the problem. Next message. Oh, how nice. The wife is saying good morning from work. What you do when you're a doctor? You work 24-hour shifts overnight. Saturday. Yep, so, Pyro, this stream is basically just me doing BGS work.
Docking request denied.
What?
Docking request denied.
Excuse me? Okay, look, Colony, you're part of Libertas. I made that. Me and G-Swine. made that, you don't get to deny me document permission. Look, here, I'm looking right at you, pal. Fix this. No! What? Mad Dog. Mad Dog, it's you! What are you... what... How is that? Is this guy... Do you know Jin here? Do you know... You know Mr. Mad Dog? He needs to get the fuck out of my way, is what he...
Docking request granted.
He is miss every time. Oh, like they miss getting when they're fired at it. Yeah, I really feel like that flat profile.
Landing gear.
It reminded me a lot of looking at the Cobra and a little bit of the Python too, because, like I miss Cobras all the time, especially if I'm in one of my big ships or I'm trying to like kill a small Cobra, like a Corvette or something. It's just as annoying as hell trying to hit them with anything.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Yeah. Fine. Don't want to read here. Missions. Yeah, in the meantime, while I'm waiting for the tick to happen, I'm just finishing up some BGS, tidying up some other systems until we get our war. So I'm working to screw over those Emperor's Fist guys a little bit. And again, I mean the faction, not the players, because somebody just started working them after they came into the game.
Landing gear retracted. Ship released. Engines engaged.
I just wanted Empire rep.
Frameshift drive charging.
So I'm gonna get some pirates after me or something. Maybe I'll pick up a few source and return missions, even though they're no longer worth tens of millions of credits each, and see how that all shakes out. Bring the heavy guns at Vista. Yeah, that's my plan too. Is I got my Corvette. It's basically a CZ Corvette, and we can wing up if you want and tear it up, or if we want to do separate instances to get more income per and more transactions and all that. I don't actually. It shouldn't matter. I'm gonna wreck that shit. Yeah, I think a wing would be fun. Then we'll be able to get the like rolling death ball going, you know, where like everything on the screen is green. Then three enemies will spawn in, and you'll just destroy them. You can just farm that all day. Oh, I know, Ribbon. We should take our Anacondas and just make them into efficient pulse turret boats, and then we can just AFK farm for days. Yeah, I don't blame you. You just got that thing perfect with the with the FSD booster in there now, and it's like right back to where you want it. Well, my Anaconda is still the boat I use to murder things, and I don't particularly care to clean it or do any of that. I'm almost wondering if I should make an exploration crate. You're gonna think I'm crazy because you want those really high jump ranges, but it can get 47 light years, and in my brain, coming from vanilla, you know, like 32 light years was probably the best you could hope for. Having a 47 light year ship like that with a really great cockpit and all the internals I need, like, that sounds fun. So, I don't know, we'll see. I don't know what I want to do with a crate, that's why I haven't bought one yet. I just can't figure it out. Check on streams. I'm I'm gonna rely on you and Traum to probably get me back into remembering how No Man's Sky works. But once this next update drops, I'm really excited for the multiplayer stuff. Like, I was reading that article last night. I didn't realize people have made whole civilizations, and even though they can't really see each other right now, they like remade planets and built farms together and like did all this collaborative stuff. I don't know. It sounded pretty cool. Sounded pretty cool. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited. Even if there's a lot of difficulty in us finding each other at first, that might just make it pay off even. Like, we have to build up and get a spaceship and be capable of jumping around and getting to each other using the stargates. I'm going to call them stargates because they work through a series of that you have to match in order to get across the universe. It's totally Stargate.
Landing gear deployed.
All visitors, please ensure you complete docking procedures within the allocated time.
Human.
Touchdown confirmed. Commence system shutdown. Report to station services for more information, Commander.
Alright. Let's see. Black hole. Yeah, that's the thing, is I haven't played since probably the first few days after it launched. So I really know very little about the game. I'm excited to get into it. I mean, it wasn't bad, it wasn't terrible, but like, I think the game came out, I had pre-ordered it, I played it for probably total. Installed it. It just wasn't that interesting to me, but they've added so much since then. Okay, so let's see. Libertas has had 10. Have had 11. Okay, so here we go. 120 non-lethals. That's rep 5. Or, influence 5, I mean. I can do. See what these guys have. These. Yeah, they don't have any high influence. So that's good. We'll do probably the closer ones. Well, let's do Libertas first. They have light years out. I could do a salvage op. Let's do some salvage. We'll do 5. There we go, and 5. Okay, so that's 10 more for LC. This will be 2. Yeah, so 2. Four. Let's flip the board. Sandro doesn't want you on AD. What do you mean? Besides the fact that Sandro is horribly biased. You know, Traum, the Clipper is not a bad exploration ship, especially with the way things are now. You can probably get high 40s jump range, which I don't know if that's good enough for you, but that might be an option. All right, so you're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess that would be what we have to do. 6. 7, 8. They were ahead by 1, so now they'll be subtracted by 1. So that would be... Alright, 20 for LC. Right, that's 5? Yeah. It'll be 20 for LC. 10 more there, and then perhaps let's go back to open. One more. Oh, that, yeah. I know who that Sandro is. He's actually a manatee. We have cloned Sandro successfully and converted him from the space loach to the manatee. Public. Hey, there we go. +2. Give them 1,000,000. That's fine by me. So that will put them at those 8, 9, 10. So that will put them right where we want.
Mission critical message.
Cool. And they'll give me a follow-on. That's fine by me. I gotta run really quickly to the bathroom. So, yeah, BRB, real quick. Pardon me, guys. Just a sec. Alright, and I'm back. So, let's do this thing. Where do we gotta go? This was in Chant. Yeah, so we'll do that last. Let's get rid of the evac shelters. Oh, beautiful München. Let's go there first. Harding, and then... yeah, we'll do... oh, you know, I didn't pay attention to who the recipient was. Oh well. I do love the Python. Such a good ship.
Frameshift drive charging.
All clear. Flight control out.
4, 3, 2, 1.
You know when you mix your tea in with some honey? Or some honey in with your tea, probably. The more accurate way to put it. And you get to the end where like the honey that didn't dissolve is all just sitting there. It's like a treat. Delightful. Reminds me. Algol. Commander Elite Harmless. See, who was that? Who was that? These two people. I don't know who those were. But I ran in. Yesterday. I should look them up, see where I saw them. At the same time, I was flying kind of halfway across the galaxy to get Algold his Fujin tea, so perhaps it was while I was and not in the München area. That's a good name, though. Commander Elite Harmless. Yeah, I probably saw the meta station open. Enjoyed seeing a horseman killed me. Yeah, I know, right? And Algold now, too. Algold destroyed my vessel. Blammo destroyed my vessel. Horseman killed me. Like, and that's never gone away. That came up whenever they first added that list in, which was, what, 2 point something?
Incoming mission critical message.
Okay, what is this? Alternate destination. No. Another fine Libertas property. Actually, Harding might not be. One of these little ones isn't. Libertas, no, this Libertas. It's, there it is. Brundage. It still belongs to Empire. Yeah, I don't know. That could be. I don't really want to remove an entry, though. I like having this record, because I can go back pretty far. See everybody that I've come in contact with. Nice.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Plus, it's good if we're seeing, like, really weird crap happen in the BGS, and you fly in open and run across somebody. Like, you might be able to draw some conclusions. Yeah, I will probably see you guys pretty quickly. I mean, I'll see, you know, a couple of you in the war today once that kicks off. Yeah, mission future. See, so I'm giving them a little bit of that influence. It's what you got to watch out for when you do missions. That they get influence, and Republic Party, who I just did the mission for. It's okay though, not that big of a deal. And a follow-on mission. Great. Sometimes those are fun, like assassinations, planetary scans, or whatever.
Landing gear retracted.
They're good to do.
Ship released. Engines engaged.
Where am I going? Oh god, no, not... You know, one day Pyro will tell you the story of the people who used to make fanfics of AD. And what happened with them. TLDR is they almost destroyed the power and ended up getting...
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Sandro. I didn't realize he was still in there. That's hysterical. After 100 hours with the same crew member. Oh, God. Oh, that kind of fanfic. Oh, like backstories for your pilot. Yeah, that's... whatever, that's fine. You know what's actually kind of cool about that? Let's... remind me when I dock. I'll look at the pilots who are there. They reference in-game events, like community goals and big events that happened. And there are pilots who are referencing stuff that I wrote when PL made their community goal, which I thought was really awesome. It makes it like, pretty personal. I don't even know what my pilot's backstory is. Oh, that's right. I just hired her randomly when my old one died. I did fight in Luke, though. That war was pretty... And she's made a lot of money. That's 300 million I could have in my pocket. So, what kind of group do we want to be when we all get together in No Man's Sky? What kind of things do we want to accomplish? I know, Pyro, you were saying you wanted to get a big freighter and do trade. Like one of those giant ones we can pilot. Yeah, like, that wasn't even a thing when I played on, you know, day one or whatever. So, cool. I think what I did, I got off my planet, like I fixed my ship, got off my planet, Star Destroyers, play the Imperial March. You do have that Darth Vader face, so bring that back in for Sky. And, yeah, so, like, I got off, I went to the nearby space station, flew around, shot some asteroids, like, it was cool. But then that was it. I'm really excited that they've added a bunch since then, and I'm really excited that they're making proper multiplayer. Little pink planet here.
Orbital flight engaged.
And a little steep and fast, but I think I'll be okay. It's a good looking planet. Very pinky, but tail is nice. Some of them you land on and you're like, doesn't look that. Yeah, some of those canyons might not be too shabby. Should get a bunch of, like, stripped down eye couriers or vipers. Right, like, that's probably a little bit too big and wide of a canyon, but I bet some of those smaller ones, like, kind of in the distance over there, probably not too bad for a canyon race. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There were a lot. If not, there are other good canyons on in München.
Warning, terrain alerts. Climb immediately.
Ooh, you making a speed viper?
Confirmed contact. Commence power down. It's good to have you with us, Commander.
Thanks. Good here. Survey. Let's see. Turn in the mission. Oh, I want to look at the fighter pilots, right. So that's done. I'll take the thermic alloys, actually. To influence. Race with a Raptor. Yeah, I know a Raptor. One time I sponsored the races, paid out paint jobs as rewards and stuff. When they did their, they rotated through all the powers, so when they came to AD, we sponsored them. And I joined in their race in Cubeo. Didn't do that great, but I had engineers. We're looking at crew lounge. Let's see who these people are, right? So, fought at Kivra. That was, this is interesting, I fought in that war. That's when Denton Petraeus came and basically enslaved an entire star system. So, I don't know if he didn't say what side he's on. Federal Navy, Cerberus Plague, Operation Korea. Citizens of... Yeah, no, nothing referencing our stuff specifically. It's okay, though. Race to Beagle Point. Yeah, now that you've got your FSD booster... Oh, they need to fix it. Yeah, you're right, because you probably can't use it when you do the super jump. Like the neutron synthesis jumping. Stuck here. I need to remember to get limpets, or I'm going to be manually scooping a bunch of shit.
You may leave when ready.
I don't remember what that planet was that we were talking about before, but you found a planet that had all the Jumponian materials, right? You looked one up and it was green.
Frameshift drive charging.
This is Contact Operations. Signing off.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Oh, Hades Edge. Yeah, fly all the way back out there. Get yourself cooked alive. Probably not then. But can you just use a materials trader to trade for the right jumponium that you need? Right? Because isn't it just considered a raw trader? That's a really cool system, though, you've got to admit. It's pretty neat to land and, like, see the two close orbiting, ringed rocky worlds. Oh, yeah, that's a challenge. Brevity was doing some piracy of the... I don't know if he's doing piracy or just scanning the megaships or the stuff. It was pretty interesting.
Frameshift drive charging.
He said he was getting a lot of materials from that, and then he was doing mining and then killing the pirates and getting a lot of materials from that. So it was cool. I'm worried though. He's gonna jump into these combat zones today, and he's not gonna have any engineering done. It's gonna be hard on him. His ship is just gonna get wrecked. Unless he wings with us. If he wings with us, he'll probably survive. Hopefully.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged. Frameshift drive charging.
Most likely. I mean, maybe take it out and see how it performs, but if, most of us you can get jumponium. Oh, yay. Good stuff, Mad Dog. Here's what I'd say, Traum. If you want to try it out, you can wing with us and give it a shot, just for something fun and different. I think your challenge will be if you get ganged up on. But I think if you're just in there and everybody's fighting something and you're like 1v1ing in a big fighter furball, like, that's not too bad. What you might do, since you're low on engineering mats and you want to essentially mod that thing up, is equip one of your smaller Corvette hardpoints with some, not hardpoints, but internals with collector limpets and a small cargo hatch, and bring like 32 limpets. And as you're killing stuff, once we clear it out a bunch, like the materials that they drop in combat zones are really good for engineering. It's a lot of like the G3, G4, G5 stuff. Yeah, awesome. And especially when you're in a wing, like people can cover you while you scoop, so you don't have to stop and like fight a bunch, which is useful. Hey, does anybody have exploration data? Did. Well, that's fine. I know you already sold it, I think. That's fine. I just want to know if anybody had it today. Might have you drop it somewhere. Oh, right. Well, you shouldn't be touching people's orcas without their permission. Consent.
Uniform Alpha. You are approaching
Good.
an Imperial facility. Please comply with all dictates and procedures. Approval is granted. Proceed at your earliest convenience to pad 1-1. We are ready to engage.
G-Swin's having trouble getting
Scan detected.
2 million in PL bounties. Well, you were helping us kill. You might be able to pay those off now that your notoriety can decay while docked. Dog.
For the safety of residents
Landing
and
gear
guests,
deployed.
Yeah, G-Swin's trying to get No Man's Sky to work, and he's getting like 15 FPS. That's odd, though. I mean, he can play other games. You should be able to play No Man's Sky. They've re-optimized and done a lot of work. I'm surprised. I feel like he could.
May alight when ready. We are glad to have you with us at this station, Commander.
Alright. Buy limpets, buy limpets, buy limpets, buy limpets. Get to buy limpets. Influence. Yeah, that was LC. Hey, decreased their signs of a lockdown. That's good. You know what I was surprised about is that we never got that lockdown.
inside the docking bay.
55 card? Oh. Still 1T from yesterday. Right. Yeah, 16 is good. Actually, I'll sell that back at him. Back in LC space. Galaxy map. 2-2. S? I don't know the best.
Landing gear retracted.
Yeah, Mad Dog, if you want to pay off your PL bounties and then pick one of our systems where we have kind of low influence, give us some of that exploration data. That might be helpful. Maybe Wakia or something. Otherwise, I don't know. Use it for your own BGS work too. I don't feel like you have to, but I'm just.
Charging.
Our war's going to start and our influence is going to go down, so I want to make sure that we can kind of manage that ahead of time. Get a little bit of a pop up ahead of the war.
Have a good trip, Commander.
We've only got about two hours and 15 minutes before that kicks off, maybe even less.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Oh, I don't know. A 750 Ti should be able to play. And it is not that complicated of a 750 Ti is not a slouch of a card. I get that it's a couple generations old, but that should work. Well, the things that are gonna suck it up, like you have to get rid of any shadows, right? Like whatever shadows, gotta minimize that to the lowest setting possible. And then you need to get rid of anything that does any kind of fog, mist, gaseous transparencies and all that. Put that all the way down to the lowest setting you can. Because those are the things that are more modern and are very hard for graphics cards to do. And then if you have a lot of anti-aliasing, I don't know, turn that down. If you have a lot of, or use FXAA instead of the stuff that's harder to do, so that it does it as post-processing. It doesn't look as good, but it's much smoother. Austin's wreck. Oh, I read about that. Or maybe it was you who was writing about it.
Uniform Alpha. Comms link established. Please approach the station at a safe speed and give
Get a nice external view here. I like those lights that are on the Python. The ones that are along the kind of ridge. Light up the side, it looks pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember what my FPS was when it launched, but I don't think it was that bad. I don't know. G-Spline should be able to get it figured out. I would almost just say go on Google and look at what people have done with similar setups. Like, people are using a 750 Ti, see what they've done. It'd be nice to get 60 or 100, but even if you're only getting 30, like, that's playable. Love AutoDock. I know people judge you for using it, but
Touchdown confirmed. Command system shut down. Welcome, Commander.
I'll take the materials. Another one. Oh, that was for Aisling's Angels. Glad to help. You guys are in retreat, but I think that's the one they wanted. They're trying to get out of some crappy small systems. So, good for them. Go Angels. Bass, Shant, and 5 billion, that's a big one. Agricultural.
Landing gear retracted.
Have to see if there's a player group in Bess. Maybe we take it over.
Frameshift drive charging.
All clear. Flight control signing off.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
It's always the worst thing. Troubleshooting frame rates in games is like, it's freaking voodoo sometimes. 12 to 15 frames. Yeah, that's unplayable. It's only got a modern processor, 24 gigs of RAM, and then for some reason... And a 750 should totally... I mean, what are the system requirements here? So let's see, we got No Man's Sky. Let's look at the store page. Requirements. Yeah, look at this. Graphics. GTX 480. And Radeon 7870. I had a 7870 5 years ago. Like, these are, no. Or i3, yeah, you got that. G-Swine should totally be able to play this, no problem. I don't know, that seems a bit ridiculous to me.
Drive charging.
Those requirements are, build your wallpapers. Yeah, it's funny how graphics drivers have never been easy to do.
3, 2, 1.
I don't know why that is. Or like, why printing something is such a resource-intensive process. It's like, I have a 6-core processor going 4 gigahertz, and like 32 gigs of DDR4, RAM going like 38,000 megahertz or whatever the hell, 3,800 megahertz, and it's still like lags on printing.
Fuel scoop
Okay.
disengaged.
Alright, so get this last delivery in, go find our black box in Chantenary, back to CD72-190 for one more round of missions. That should get us up to 30 for each of those factions. And we'll be good to go. Hopefully that democracy doesn't match for a war with the people above them. I'm going to try to arrange another election above them so they can prog it, but that'll be tomorrow's work. The min specs listed are just wrong. That could be. Well, I don't know. I mean, G-Swine will find the settings that work, but I guess I could reinstall it. Would I be downloading while streaming? Probably not. I'll wait. But I can reinstall and get all the DLC downloaded and everything so it's ready once the next update is released. NFTs are going to the procedural galaxy. Well, I guess this is a procedural galaxy too. You know what I mean. Yeah, like, now that I know that they have a bunch of third-party tools and things, pretty neat. Pretty neat. The game has developed a pretty cool community. I'll probably read up on it sometime soon, so I'm more familiar with what they're doing, with what's out there. Probably a little bit like Elite, where there's a whole universe of things to know that aren't really explained well in-game, or all in-game, in Elite's case. Like all this BGS stuff we're doing. That was basically like Traum, Ikuo, Craig, me and G-Swine, like all trying to figure that out 2 years ago. And really, like, once those guys came on board, like, helped us be more methodical about it. Like, that's really when we started to figure it out. And then other people too doing it in the other groups and powers.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like you do good things for a faction, good things happen. Every action you take has an effect on the faction, so like that's why killing cops hurts the faction that cops are from, or killing ships hurts that faction, right? Bounties all go to a particular faction now, so that's why they get the benefit. So it's that kind of thing. And then there's those percentages that you see on the sides here. These percentages are where I get those numbers from. And so those determine who matches and does what and, you know, goes to war. Whoops, wrong system. All that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. It is a lot to try to figure out. That's why sometimes it's easier just to be like, what do I need to do today? Give me some orders. For a long time, like, we didn't know how long a pending state would last, right? So we're waiting for wars to start for 3 days, and we're like, why isn't the war starting? Let's do something. And then you do something, and then the war would start, and be like, oh, that thing I did must have made the war begin. It's like, no, actually, it just always takes 3 days. But if you're not counting it, and you're not paying attention to it, like, you might develop some false positives and some false ideas about what happens. So that was a big part of why the BGS was so hard to figure out. You know, or you'd not realize that you're doing things that are supporting the other factions in your system too, or factions that you weren't intending to support. For a long time, when you had bounties that were just Empire bounties, we didn't realize that those would help out every single Empire faction. So, like, turning those in was really counterproductive if you're not an Empire faction. Yeah, or what Trump said, right? Blocking and pending states. So, like, wars and elections are considered at a higher priority than every other state. So boom and bust and lockdown and expansion and retreat and all that, those get just ruled over by wars and completely blocked out. So there's that kind of stuff, which nobody tells you. You just have to figure it out, right? Like, we just had to have and watch and observe a bunch of wars take place. Alright, where are we going? 3A. Great.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Yep. Well, it's like this patch where they added in different missions. I heard that massacre missions just had influence effects removed entirely. We'll have to look and see today. Maybe I was misreading something. Or like with the data. Yeah, that was bad too. Well, because their live streams, I think they don't all know everything that's being done at any given time, because usually the people on the live streams aren't all the devs. Yeah, I'm happy to do some BGS tutelage. I think it's a really interesting part of the game, although it does demand a lot of your time if you completely run a faction. But that's why it's nice, because we have a few people, so, like, it's not a problem if a couple of us go off and do other things, like play No Man's Sky for a month. Have a few people who can check in and keep an eye on stuff. I'm glad you like murder, because I don't particularly care for combat that much. It's one of the less interesting parts of the game for me. And so killing ships and being wanted is, like, such a chore. The fact that Pyro's happy to go in there and, like, blow shit up, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what we need. Give me my signal source. Come on. Yeah, Trum is an excellent BGSer. And even though they've been changing stuff, it's not that significantly different. Like, they seem to have fixed on a pretty stable set of ideas, and so everything they're doing now is more about tweaking to keep those ideas. They're no longer, like, totally changing around what missions do. There was a time where donation missions were incredibly counterproductive, right? You donate money, and people did that a lot for earning Empire rep, and it would just crush the faction. It would put them into bust. Because it was like, I guess the logic was like, oh, your faction poor, and their hand is out for money, so they don't have anything, so you're hurting them. And then it was kind of dumb, because you're like, I just gave you 1 million credits, how are you in economic ruin? Right? Like, I'm donating you all this money. Now it, you know, so there's weird stuff like that. It's just stuff that didn't make sense. Where's my signal? Oh, a big one was figuring out how expansions work. It took us forever to figure that out. We couldn't figure out why, like, you'd have systems right next door, and then you'd expand and you'd go, like, 15 light years away. We didn't realize that there were, you know, limits on how many factions would be in the system. That kind of thing. Yeah, that was part of it, too, is you get players who really wanted to believe certain things and didn't really care if you tested it out or disproved them. They would just push and push and push a certain idea. Hey, mission objective. So one thing that would happen is, like, back when the game was not even in alpha, right? It was pre-alpha. They're still, like, building up the basic mechanics of being in a universe. Is they had these big things for all their Kickstarter backers. Say, like, what do you want the universe to be? Like, what do we want the background simulation to be like? People will come up with these big lists, and so FD was putting these lists together, like, aspirationally. We would love it if this would be the case, and that would be the case. Like, we want our universe to feel a certain way and act a certain way. And some of that made it into the game, some of it didn't. And people would just take those lists as gospel. They were like, well, you're going to trigger a mega outbreak that's going to lock down the whole sector in disease. And you're like, no, that's not a thing. They never actually made that. But it's in the file. It's in the list. Like, yeah, the list from 2013, 2 years before the game actually came out, full of features that they never made. Like, so that's what's difficult too, is people want to believe everything FD said in those early days is already in the game, and it's not, and it may never be.
Mission objective complete. Incoming mission critical message. Cargo scoop retracted.
Alright. Phillips.
Frameshift drive charging.
Who dat? Oh, Ribbon on Twitch. Yeah, he's Pyro. Ribbon and Pyro are the same person.
3, 2, 1,
I get triggered whenever somebody writes München, which is kind of silly given that I should do that in AD Slack maybe, but PL Slack we talk about it. Why I have a notification for that. I know the mission is successful.
Fuel
Tell me.
scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
I got you, Pyro. Dropping it in Slack right there. Illicit car. Oh, it's the black boxes. Too bad those missions yesterday. I was about to run one more stack, get myself to 3 billion, and call it a day when they canceled it. It's okay though. I made about 200 million. Not bad. Not bad for a day's bug. Stovepipe. I mean, identify yourself how you want to be identified. Don't let us be like, you have to be Pyro everywhere. Especially if you have an audience on Twitch that you like, that knows you as real. Oh. Oh, you forgot. Yeah, I have like weird old accounts on things I run across again sometimes.
Landing gear deployed.
All pilots to this starport. Be sure to check station services for any updates. And enjoy your stay.
Sorry, playing on the phone.
Dispatching ground crew. Enjoy your visit, Commander.
So let's find another. The BGS tick, yeah, about 2 hours. It might be a little earlier than that when it begins, so I'll start checking it. It's basically whenever the servers came back online yesterday, or 2 days, Saturday, wow, 2 days ago, that's when the tick will be. Alright, so that's done. I'm gonna sell my tea, a 1 ton of tea. Let's see if we can get 10 more for these guys. See, so these are still pretty good money, but you're moving a lot more stuff than There we go. Influence 5. And then I can do... And influence of 5. Public party. I mean, I could. It's 5. And influence 5. Easy. 200,000 seconds. Decline. Take an influence 3. Best idea ever. Pyro. What is your idea? Bated breath. Oh. Like we should all be Star Wars related manatees for a bit. That does work. Capacity. How many tons do I have free? Get rid of... Yeah, I already have 2 of these, so... I guess I could do one of those follow-ons. I can start modifying every manatee if needed. I am more than happy with my manatee. It is quite alright. My weird orange bald beard. Oh, easy. Alright. I'll take the cheap one. It's 2 and it's done. It's, Nope.
Landing gear retracted.
Ship released. Restrict speed until clear of the station perimeter.
Of course. It's right on the edge of the... Fine. Then we'll go to Samana first.
Frameshift drive charging.
Speed restrictions are now lifted. Have a safe trip, Commander.
I'll tell you what, after all this mission running the last few weeks, though, I actually could go for some combat.
4,
It'd be a good war.
2, 1.
The Empire striking. Yeah. I haven't been paying a lot of attention to power play, but I don't think we're doing much striking back. At least not in that regard.
Incoming mission critical message.
It's more like getting wrecked by 5th Sea. Yeah, honestly, if there was not a double BGS bonus, I would probably not care at all about power play anymore. It is just totally a mess. I'm not sure that all the new fixes are going to help that much either. All the extra voting and stuff is going to be... I mean, we're not winning the votes now. We'll just continue to not win the votes then. So, I think it's just whoever has more accounts can run the vote. That account's pretty cheap now. Everybody's got alts, duplicates, extras, whatever.
Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Chief Inspector Kay Kilbride has been murdered by terrorist organization the League of Reparation. The incident took place in the city of New Rossif on Turnus World. In the wake of Inspector Kilbride's death, Alliance Interpol has assigned Deputy Inspector Mara Klatt to assume the role of Task Force Liaison. There has been a range of reactions to news that Princess Aisling Duval and Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester are to marry. A congratulatory message was sent from the Imperial Palace, but there was no comment from Emperor Arissa Lavigny Duval. Senator Zemina Torval was frank in her disapproval, while Senator Caspian Leopold, who was rumored to be courting Aisling Duval, was more supportive. Aegis has announced that it will allow technology brokers to reduce their requirements for items, in order to increase overall combat effectiveness against the Thargoids. A spokesperson for Aegis said the galactic community had worked hard to oppose the Thargoids, and that Aegis would therefore make it easier for independent pilots to obtain advanced weaponry and hardware. Meanwhile, an emergency report from Aegis has confirmed that the Thargoids have launched a large-scale assault on the Degiat system. The organization has called on all members of the galactic community for assistance in defending the system, which is home to the Garate Terminal Starport. A fringe religion that worships the Thargoids has become the target of hostility, with large numbers of civilian protesters reacting angrily to the sect's openly pro-Thargoid stance. Authorities have responded with assurances that the sect's members are harmless, and that criminal acts against them may result in prosecution. In other news, scientists in Colonia have announced plans to build an outpost to monitor the region's population and resources. Professor Alexei de la Vega, who is heading the project, said the proposed outpost would focus on ensuring that the ever-expanding region would have sufficient resources in the long term. Finally, an operation to support construction of an Aegis military facility in the Pleiades Nebula has reached a successful conclusion. Hundreds of pilots supported the initiative by delivering mined resources to the Oracle, and by protecting traders in the system. And those are the main stories this week.
Yeah, caught up on the news.
3, 2, 1,
They're gonna kidnap Felicity Farseer. No more drive engineering.
Thargoid assault on the Degiat system. An emergency report from Aegis confirms that the Thargoids have returned to the core systems with an incursion into the Degiat system. Admiral Aiden Tanner, Aegis's chief military liaison, delivered this statement. Following the Thargoids' retreat, all evidence suggested that their surface sites had become dormant. But new data from our Eagle Eye network shows that they have surged back to life, and that the star maps inside
Yeah, I
these
think a
structures
mining
are now
python would probably
pinpointing
be a
the
good
Degiat
pick.
system. It seems this was only a brief respite while they summoned reinforcements from the Pleiades. Latest intelligence indicates that Thargoid vessels are now congregating in large numbers in Degiat space. This is an alarming development for the Garate Terminal Starport, which is on high alert. There are also several megaships active in the region, which are potential targets for the Thargoids.
Yeah,
On
so
behalf of Aegis, I am calling on all members of the galactic community for assistance in defending Degiat. Without the aid of independent pilots, all assets in the system could be overwhelmed, with the loss of thousands of lives. Appended to the Aegis report was the following transmission from an unnamed commander operating in the Degiat system. I've just been attacked by something. Thargoid for sure, but my computer couldn't identify it. Some new kind of scout, maybe? The remainder of the transmission was unavailable. Starport status update. This
Oh.
report presents the latest data on Starport.
So, we could also go hunt Thargoids at some point this week.
docking success.
We kill enough of them, they don't continue their expansion and attacks. And Dekiet is definitely system because the engineer is there. Although I don't think they attack ground bases. At least I didn't. It's possible with the patch.
Incoming message.
Right. Da, da, da. Let's see. Yep. 2.
Ship released. Engines engaged. Landing gear retracted.
Yeah, people watching me do BGS and they're like, Quade, you're just spewing influence out to all these random factions. Have care. No, I'm impatient.
Frameshift drive charging.
I think a mining python is a good idea. I think especially next year when they get all those mining updates in, you're going to want something with enough internals to house all the different components you need. Because it's more now than just a prospector limpet and a collector limpet controller or two, right? Now, and then the refinery, right? You're also going to need the analysis and sensors, the explosives, all that other stuff. And the crate just might not have enough for the cargo capacity you need at that point. So, you know, Python would be good. Plus you can keep that power supply and power distributor pretty amped up to maintain your mining lasers. So it's not a bad choice.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
I am really surprised no pirates have come after me. I felt like for sure that would be something that happened this playthrough with all these missions I'm taking.
Docking request granted.
What I'll do is knock out these missions and then take a little break for maybe about as much as an hour while we're waiting for the tick to commence and start that war. That's alright with everybody. You'll all be doing your own thing anyway, either in-game, getting in-game, playing a different game, playing no game and watching somebody else on Twitch. All of the above. Plus I need to upload the videos to YouTube. That'll be the other part of what I do. Yeah, and then I'll stream the war. The fighting in the war would be great.
Engines disengaged.
Hopefully the CZs aren't full of capital ships. It's annoying. Yeah, Pyro likes to kill the cap ships. I find it really surprising that after 3+ years, they never did fix those giant cannons on the capital ship for the Imperials. Right? The Fed cap ships have those beam lasers that are really powerful, and then the Imperial ones have those really cool looking, they call them like large railguns, capital ship railguns or something, and they don't hit. They don't do anything. They're just visual. They always miss. Or if they do hit, they do 0 damage. It's ridiculous. Let's find out.
Please approach at a safe speed and comply with station regulations. Access permitted. Please make your way to landing pad 07. You are clear for automated approach, Commander.
Oh, where is it? There. Oh, it's at the top. You shouldn't. S-H-I-N. Spell it. How do you spell it? Inert.
Landing gear deployed.
Oh, I know where I can look. Generata Shinzer. Submit.
Docking procedure complete.
All right.
Lockdown procedures. The Imperial Flight Operations Bureau wishes you a pleasant and productive visit, Commander.
So I would just start looking through these. This is just all the rings. I don't know whether they're pristine or... But yeah, so check Delcar. Yeah, in game you can search for fountain. Can't do that. Tool. Absolutely, I can. Oh, that's it. Dropping into Slack chat and Stream chat. That works. You might even be able to do like this and then nearest have mine. Sometimes you can do that. Oh well. Medicine. I have left 2. Great. Good old BGS. Okay.
Please observe safe speed when traversing the docking bay.
Away, Eagle. Get out of the way, Eagle. Get out of the way.
Frameshift drive charging.
You are now leaving the controlled zone. Imperial Flight Operations Bureau wish you a safe onward journey.
4, 3, 2, 1. Incoming mission critical message. Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Hope they add micro jumps within system. That would be really nice. Just jump. You're 10 light seconds away. I get an extra 140k if I can get there in an hour. Wait, I can do that. While we wait, let's see what's on Reddit. Relationships. Yes. It's being destroyed. Simple Guardian Guide. Weapons and blueprints. Fantastic. That's what I needed. Bookmark. Yes. Oh, this is the one. This is cool. This is legit. These stations. 3 stations that are all visible from each other orbiting, I think, nothing. Or like placeholder. Elite dangerous, take forever. Look at all that progress I'm making. And yeah, I've been open this whole time, right? We're 4 and 55 minutes into this stream. I've seen nobody. No players. Not a single person. On a Saturday morning or afternoon. Nobody. I am an open, right? Yeah, see? I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, one thing I'll say about that too, like being an open, right? Because you might say like, oh, Quade, like you're kind of in a backwater system, right? But actually, it's not that far away from stuff. So you have Munchen. Okay, that's Chona. It's like 20 light years away from Munchen. That's the home of Aisling's Angels, a large player group. There's Akinar, right? Facey. There. But capital of the Empire, and all of these are big popular systems, and also not far from player groups like Mobius
Docking
Or
successful.
Mobius
Engines
over
disengaged.
here, and then you have Apathum, which is Evingi's Legion, right? LL, Evingi's Legion. We've got 2 player groups right here. There's another player group here in Pangolin, right? Like, there's not... there's a big German player group down here. There's some people above us, like, over here. This is not an area of space that is empty, right? It's full of player groups. Full of places where people should be hanging around doing stuff, and you don't see them. So, I guess my point being that, like, open is really not that big. It's not that terrifying. It's when you go to the populous systems that it really starts to become scary, right? You go to a community goal, you go to the main founders, then you're having a tough time, right? Then you run into some pirates and all that kind of stuff. But just trucking around in München, you could totally be in open and never run into anybody. Or if you do, they're just passing through or traitors. It's very rare to find a combatant.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
We're about to cross the 2-hour mark for the stream. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut it here. All I'm going to do is hand in these missions and then go park myself in Istanus to get my Corvette. And I'll be back about an hour after that to fight in the war. Update the spreadsheets and fight in the war. And I'll start streaming again then. So, yeah, maybe get a little early lunch as well. Thanks for watching, everyone.